Okay, so this is the Arizona Buyer Advisory. This is a resource for real estate consumers and my clients or your realtor's clients. It's provided by the Arizona Association of Realtors and the Arizona Department of Real Estate. I'm going to go ahead and read this first little blurb here because this is actually really important. A real estate agent is vital to the purchase of real property and can provide a variety of services in locating a property, negotiating the sale, and advising the buyer. A real estate agent is generally not qualified to discover defects or evaluate the physical condition of property. However, a real estate agent can assist a buyer in finding qualified inspectors and provide the buyer with documents and other resources containing vital information about a prospective property. In other words, your realtor is not a professional or a licensed home inspector. I'm going to go ahead and finish reading this. The advisory is designed to make the purchase of real property as smooth as possible. Some of the more common issues that a buyer may decide to investigate or verify concerning a property purchase are summarized in this advisory. Included in this advisory are common documents a buyer should review. Number 2, physical conditions in the property the buyer should investigate. And number 3, conditions affecting the surrounding area that the buyer should investigate. In addition to this, a buyer must communicate to the real estate agents in the transaction any special concerns the buyer may have about the property or surrounding area, whether or not those issues are addressed in this advisory. And the last couple reminders. So basically, this whole first page is pretty important, so you might want to look that over a couple times. This advisory is supplemental to obtaining professional property inspections. Professional property inspections are absolutely essential. There is no practical substitute for a professional inspection as a measure to discover and investigate defects or shortcomings in a property. And lastly, please note, the property may be subject to video and or audio surveillance. The buyer should therefore exercise caution and not discuss features or pricing while in the home. This is something you would only have to worry about in the very beginning when we're looking at homes and you're shopping homes. So don't worry too much about that one. Now, in this first section, you're going to go through some common documents that you should review. This is a list of all the common documents that you're going to see. As you go through these documents, feel free to ask questions. This second section is full of the forms that you will commonly see when it comes to the physical conditions in the property a buyer should investigate. Section 3, conditions affecting the area surrounding the property the buyer should investigate. These are all the forms you might see. Each transaction is case by case. Section 4, other methods to getting information about a property. This is something you can do on your own. Talk to the neighbors, drive around the neighborhood, investigate your surroundings. This part's really easy to do. Resources, other resources, market conditions advisory, fair housing and disability laws, wire fraud. This is just additional resources your realtor will provide you with as needed. The first form you're going to see is your purchase contract. You'll see possibly some contingency waivers, your MLS printout, which is basically, well, we also call it a plano. It's a picture of the property and the description of the property. A subdivision disclosure report or public report. Number 4, the seller's property disclosure statement, also referred to as the SPUDs. You'll hear us use that word a lot. Then number 5, covenants, conditions, and restrictions, CC&Rs for short. This is really important. I mean, it's all really important, but this is particularly important in that this tells you what the restrictions are on the home and the property itself, what you can and can't do basically to the property. Number 6, Homeowners Association and governing docs. You might see those if the property has an HOA. You might also see the HOA disclosures with that. Community facilities information. Title report or title commitment, you'll see that towards the end of the transaction. The loan information and documents, you'll primarily be talking about this with your lender. As a licensed lender, they can talk to you about the financing. Home warranty policy, this is something you can discuss with your realtor. Typically, the buyers that I deal with personally shop a home warranty after the transaction, but you have the option to do it during, prior to close or after. Number 12, the Affidavit of Disclosure. If the buyer is purchasing 5 or fewer parcels of land, so in this case it only applies to land, so you only have to worry about that then. And these are all hyperlinks throughout the buyer advisory that you can click and go and take a look at these forms yourself if you want to review those any further. Number 13, lead-based paint disclosure form. You'll see this only if the home is 1978 or older. On the purchase contract, however, you will have to initial whether or not it was older or newer. Again, there's links to look at these forms and any other information you would like. Professional inspection report. You'll see that. That happens within the first 10 days unless there's an acceleration clause of some sort of the transaction. So typically this is done right away. County Assessor tax records. The County Assessor tax records contain a variety of valuable information, including the assessed value of the property for tax purposes and some of the physical aspects of the property, such as the reported square footage. You can actually look up any information you want to on the County Assessor's website, wherever you live. You can search the property or parcel number and find out all the details about that property you would like. Okay, and so here you can see the different counties, the other counties we have. We are in Maricopa County, where we're located. Number 16, termites and other wood-destroying insects and organisms. This sometimes will be included with your inspection. It just depends on the inspector that you choose. Some of them include a termite inspection, some of them don't. Foreign Investment in Real Property Tax Act, FIRPTA. This would only apply if you were selling and if the property was $300,000 or more. Repairs, remodeling, and new construction. The seller may have made repairs or added a room to the property, so you can take a look at information regarding that here. Number 2, square footage. 3, the roof. The swimming pools. Number 4, and spas. Number 5, septic and other site wastewater treatment facilities. This part's really important as well. The buyer advisory continues to the sewer, water well information. You might see that depending on the property, any soil problems. Basically, you want to do your research really well. Previous fire flood, if there's any issues there, any pest issues, hopefully there's none. Any scorpion, bedbug issues, roof rats, termites, bark beetles. An investor would definitely be concerned about this part and all of this part. It's all very important. Number 11, endangered and threatened species. 12, the death and felonies on the properties. 13, indoor environmental concerns. Imported drywall, radon gas, drug labs, etc. Property boundaries. Flood insurance, floodplain status, insurance, claim history, other property conditions like plumbing, cooling, heating, electrical systems, environmental concerns, sex offender concerns, environmentally sensitive land ordinances, if that applies, electromagnetic fields, forested areas, Superfund sites, If you don't know what that is, basically those are numerous sites in Arizona where the soil and groundwater have been contaminated by improper disposal of contaminants. You definitely want to investigate that if you're buying acreage. So here are some links that you can take a look and research that. Freeway and construction and traffic conditions, crime statistics, military and public airports, anything that's nearby that might be a nuisance to you possibly. And then lastly, we've got zoning forms, neighborhood services, schools. ADRE advises to call the school district serving the subdivision to determine whether nearby school areas accepting new students. First of all, you want to make sure they're accepting new students. Some school districts, especially in the northwest of the greater Phoenix area, have placed a cap on enrollment. You may find that your children cannot attend the school nearest you and may even be transported to another community. So you definitely want to check out this list right here. A lot of people are concerned about schools when they move. City profile report. Drive around the neighborhood. Again, this is stuff that you can do yourself. Drive around the neighborhood, talk to neighbors, investigate your surroundings. You can use Google Earth for that. You don't even have to go anywhere. Other resources, market conditions advisory. This is just for your info. Beware of wire fraud. Additional information, the fair housing laws, information about Arizona government, state agencies, and Arizona realtors. And lastly, the buyer acknowledgement. So you would sign and date this and send it back. And that's pretty much it. So this is the buyer advisory. You should get this from your realtor sometime after or maybe at the same time as your agency disclosure form. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks, guys.